Statues of racists and bigots have been coming down all over the world. In the last few months, protesters have toppled, torn down, and trashed Confederate statues all around the country. So let's take a look at one, the Jefferson Davis Memorial on Monument Avenue in Richmond, Virginia. This one really gets at a lot of that lost cause and general white Southern ideology wrapped up into one visual form. The centerpiece of the memorial is, of course, Davis himself. He's standing there, arm outstretched, mid-speech. It's definitely a position of power, a position of command. It is supposed to be representing the moment that he's giving a speech to the Senate announcing his resignation and also the South's succession. Directly behind him, but significantly taller, is a column with a female figure on top, meant to be an allegory for the South, or a Southern honor that was to be defended by the Confederacy. And then the third main component of the whole thing surrounding those two figures in the center is a semicircle of 13 more Doric columns that sort of create a stage. There's a few steps up to the monument, and it's also gated. So it really is sort of a theater, a temple for people to sort of worship the figure of Davis. So in the midst of the protests that erupted after George Floyd's killing, as statues in other places began to come down, by June 10, protesters took it down themselves. People who would defend these statues have been quick to call the takedown of them barbaric, right? Even the president called for these people to be arrested.
We are looking at long-term jail sentences for these vandals and these hoodlums. They don't love our country, and they're not taking down our monuments.
When the truth of the matter is, iconoclasm, the taking down of statues, is natural, is historical, and the argument can be made that it's even very productive. One of the things that Bailey Barnard, an art historian who I spoke to for this story, pointed out is that the destruction of these statues represents the rechanneling of violence away from physical bodies to images of bodies. It's a really important ritual, and I think it's a really important cathartic activity to physically and visually manifest the fact that people are reclaiming narratives of American history. In tearing down these statues of Confederate leaders, of other historical figures, protesters are saying, we're done with your reign over our collective memory. It's time to include the narratives of Black people, of Indigenous people, of various oppressed peoples in the story of this country. In doing so, we need to address the violent acts committed by these historical figures and move from a place of just blanket celebration of them to a reckoning with the full 360-degree view of their history.